what they say? Free thing the push belle, now this healthcare, now they mean. Hello. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to tell you people about my experience in the A&E emergency unit in the hospital. So, this is how my new year started. You know, I've always complained about how the GP will not ever see me for my health issues. I don't have health issues in Jesus' name, but you call them, they will always be like, oh, it's not time, or no, they just be like, you should do this or that and do this or that. They never ever call you. They never ever reply you when you are calling them. So I've been calling them for my BP issues, and they did not used to give me any good answer. Either the time has already passed or just something, sha. So when I traveled on my last vlog, you can see that I traveled to Vegan, and one day, immediately after making one particular video, I think I'll put a video here, after making the video, and I was writing other things that I planned to do that day on my notepad, and I started feeling sick. I was just feeling very headache and whatnot. So I stood up from the bed and went downstairs, and the pain, the feeling just increased. The way I was feeling was just getting worse and worse. So I thought it was on hunger. So I decided to try and make rice. So I was trying to put rice on fire. I started feeling like I need to throw up. Okay. I went to the bathroom and I um threw up. But as I was throwing up, vomiting. As I was vomiting, um blood started coming out from my nose. That's the first thing. That thing has never ever happened to me in my life. So I was like, why is this happening to me? So the first time it happened, I went back inside. So I put tissue in my nose and it was bringing really fresh blood. I was like, okay. I sat down. I was feeling headache, feeling nauseous and everything. And then I felt like throwing up again. And I went again. The same thing happened. Blood was coming out from my nose. And so I was throwing up. So the third time was too much. I was too weak. And Pressure was sleeping then, but I now called his name. I shouted out his name and he ran downstairs to meet me. When he came, I was like, what's wrong with me? He saw the blood coming out again and he became extremely scared. Me, I was even scared too, but Precious one was just extra. He just started calling the what's it called? The ambulance people because I was really weak. So he started calling them and calling them. This is where the drama started. Started calling them and calling them and calling them. They finally they picked and they were like, okay, what's the issue? Precious told them the issue, what happened. They were asking several questions. They were asking question and asking question. Precious was answering and everything. They're like, oh, there's a long queue of 3 hours that if Precious can take me to the hospital himself, he should do it. Precious say he cannot take me to the hospital himself, that they should bring an ambulance to take me to the hospital. So he started asking more question and more question. Pressure just got exhausted and ended the call on them. And then they called back. I was like, oh, what's the issue? The phone, Pressure was like, the phone went off and the rest. So they're like, okay, I should wait on the line. If the issue becomes more serious, he should call back. Fine. Nah, that's what they decided to do. So Pressure waited for like 45 minutes and called back. When he called back, another lady now picked. She was like, I was talking to a particular person about a particular issue that I'm having at home here, and I've already told the person what happened. So can I speak to that same person? And they're like, no, they can't speak to that same person. You have to speak to a new person. So he started explaining the situation again. So the person was now asking, what is the quantity of the blood that's coming out from my nose? If blood they come up for your nose like this, for your nose, you go the aspect, you go the count and say, now 1 mug, now 2 mug. Of course, we don't know. It was just coming out a lot. And Precious was like, I don't know. I was like, but what is the? People say, I don't know the quantity. What is mug? I don't know if it was up to a mug or the lady would now became so rude. And, do you need an interpreter? Do you need an interpreter? Ah, me that expression like me that speaking good English to you like this. Do I look like somebody that needs an interpreter? I don't understand what you mean by a mug. So she was like, okay, that she would transfer Precious to someone else. They transferred him to another person. That person was really respectful, understanding. I was just asking questions, telling persons to put me in a certain way on the ground before the ambulance come. That the ambulance will, that they have posted my case to the number one. That the ambulance will come soon. After like 45 minutes or so, the ambulance sha came. Another set of questions. How do you feel? If person wan die, he go don die. Person wan die, he for don die. So they're asking another set of questions. They're asking me how do I feel. They did the ECG, they did sugar test. They said my sugar was okay, and then they said, but since I'm complaining of chest pain, that the normal thing that they're supposed to do is that they have to take me to the hospital to do a test to know what is causing the chest pain. So they took me to the hospital. I was still weak, mind you. So they took me to the hospital in the ambulance. More questions in the ambulance. How old are you? Many questions. How do you feel? How is just I don't know why I don't know if it's a procedure, but they're stressing me with those questions. So we got to the A&E and they put us in emergency unit. After a while, the ambulance attendant, I don't know what they call them, and brought me, now came back and said they can take me to the other side, which means that my case wasn't going to be treated as an emergency. Fine. So they took me to the other side and said after a while, they're going to call me for a triage. Triage is the one that will check your BP and just check some few things about you. After about 45 minutes, they called me for triage. Okay, oh, don't go triage. Go to triage. They did the triage and came out. 5 minutes, triage was done. So started waiting again, another 1 hour. This is somebody that they brought with ambulance. Ambulance means that they called the ambulance to meet me to my house and brought me ambulance. So they are still taking my case as a serious case. Can you imagine? After an hour, a nurse came to me that they wanted to do some blood tests. I went there. You know, there's something that they always do in these hospitals that does not make any single sense. If I come to to a hospital, it's because I want to be treated. So you cannot be giving me um um threatening me with the amount of time I need to wait, because every time they'll be like, oh, you have to wait 10 hours. You have to wait 10 hours before you see the doctor. Do you still want to go ahead with the test? If I say no and I go home and die, what will happen? I was like, okay. She said, you have to be, you have to, they have to give me, um, I mean, they will do the test, but for me to see a doctor will be 7 hours. I was like, 7 hours. So like, do you still want to go along with the plan? I said, do it now. Because me, in my mind, I was like, there's no way that I'm going to sit here for 7 hours and I will not see a doctor. It's not the people that I'm seeing there. I was wrong, though, because 7 hours is an understatement. So she took my blood and I went to sit down again. That's 2 hours has gone since I came. We now sat down and waited and waited and waited and waited. I got there around 7 o'clock. I saw the doctor for the first time around 1 o'clock. So a doctor came and called my name. I went to the doctor, and then they said they needed to do more tests, that they saw one thing, one thing, one thing. The explanation did not make sense to me. It did not make sense to me at all. Or that they saw something that they want to check, double check. So they took my blood again, and then they took blood from my oxygen. Very painful. Ah, I don't know if the mark is here, but that's the most painful experience that I've had in hospital. For me, until I grew up like this, I don't think I've been to the hospital. Until I go to 25, I don't think I've been to the hospital. What is once? Like 2 times highest, because I hardly fall sick. So that thing was so painful, and it took so long to see where the oxygen, I be arteries. Oh God, thinking about it now, I'm feeling pain. So he drew out some blood. I wanted to check the water rate because they saw something in that they saw one enzyme that was too high in my pancreas. Oh, one thing pancreatitis or something. So that they were going to do another test, and then they were going to ask the surgery doctors. You know, their surgery does not as if they are good, they need to go and do surgery, but that's what they call them. I think it's their those GPs that you're going to ask them if it's a case of this or that. If it's a case of Is it my BP that is wrong with me, or is the pancreatitis something? So I was like, what is this? Will they give me medication? Oh, they don't know yet. They don't know yet. They don't know yet. This is how many hours I've stayed in the hospital. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 6 hours, 30 minutes already that I stayed in the hospital. You don't know if you still give me medication. No wahala, oh, no wahala. So we left there and they said we should go and sit down, that the GP, surgery doctor will come again. That's how I went to sit down. We sat down again, another 2 hours, 30 minutes. Then one surgery person came to call me. Two actually. Press my belly. I felt pains for like 2 days after they pressed my belly, because the first doctor pressed my belly too. The second one press my belly and asked me what exactly is the issue. What happened? Why did they bring me to the hospital? That one was so nice. I was like, I explained every situation to him. I was like, it's the BP. You just told me straight that it's your BP that caused it. That is not any, because what they say is high, the enzyme they say is high, is not enough to diagnose somebody with pancreatitis, pancreat, battery, whatever. It's not enough to diagnose somebody with that. So it has to be the BP. And why are my GP not giving me medication? He was so surprised. I was like, I don't know. I call them every time. They never reply me. They now said something that the NHS in this country is bad. I should forget it, that the NHS in this country is, I've forgotten what he said, but he used a particular word, which is so true. Because why am I waiting for that long? Wait, oh, I've not even gotten to the part that pissed me off the most, because honestly, I've been to emergency and I've spent nothing less than 5 hours there before. What really annoyed me the most this time is that after the surgery person told me that he's going to talk to the emergency people, that they should write something to my GP and let him know that this is what happened in Wigan and they need to give me medication for my BP. I was like, okay, great. So I went to sit down and wait again for what's it called? The emergency unit doctors. Now I was like, why are you wasting time? What's happening? I came to pick someone else. I was like, I'm still waiting. I was like, okay, he will come. After like 1 hour, 30 minutes, he now came and said, um, see what happened, that they found so. The same thing he has already told me before, and that the surgery doctor said it has nothing to do with my pancreatitis because of, oh god, I wish I could pronounce that word. But it has nothing to do with that. It has to be my BP that is going to write to my GP to give me medication. I was like, so which medication are you giving me here like this now? Paracetamol, cocomadol. What am I taking for this thing that happened at the moment that needs to suppress what I've just gone through? Say they are not giving me any medication, and this is the one that pissed me off. Why have I sat in an A&E for 10 hours and I'm not leaving that place with the medication? Nothing, not paracetamol, no Panadol, no vitamin C, nothing. I should just stand up and leave. So what have you been asking me all these 1,000 questions for? They asked me nothing less than 100 questions for me not to get anything. I was like, what? I was so mad. I was so angry. And they're like, they're going to write to my GP to give me. Till today, my GP never called me. So they written to my GP. And when I tried to call the GP when I came back around 8 o'clock, twice now they'll be like, they've closed for that. Like, how many people are calling that you are closing like that? So, or some people will come here now and be like, in Nigeria, do you have this kind of health? Blah, 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 blah. I did not live in Nigeria because of health issues. Yes, I didn't leave Nigeria because of health issues. I had left Nigeria because of other issues like insecurities and whatnot, not because of health issues. So I have the right to complain if something is not going the way I planned it, especially when it has to do with my health. And I know that it doesn't take so much to actually fix it. It's not, so don't come and be saying in Nigeria, blah 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 blah. I know Nigeria health system is bad, but I didn't leave Nigeria because of health system. So I can complain. Yes. You know what they say? Free thing dey push belle, eh? Na this healthcare na dem mean. Free thing dey push belle because if I was paying for my services, if I was going to the hospital to go and pay, it's not even free. Did we not pay for surcharge when we're coming as insurance, abi what they call it, health insurance? We paid. So why? I never even sick any sickness wey reach the money wey we pay for health insurance. So who are they using it to treat if they cannot give me honorary BP medicine? They didn't give me until today. I've not been able to get a hold of the GP. So if somebody wants to die in this, the health system in this country needs a revamp. Total revamp. It is a mess. I'm sorry, but it's a mess. It's better people are paying for their services and getting the services that they need than for you to travel all the way from your country and come to this country and be waiting that, oh, when I go to Nigeria, that's when I will buy BP medicine. Where is he head of? It does not even make one single sense. And it's painful that I had to wait for 10 hours in the A&E for me to find this out. Like, I say, let me come around. Yes, let me come around. Because in my country, if I pay my small 10,000, 20,000, they will treat me. Yes. So after paying head surcharge, I be see, apart from, let me not talk, it's not as if the health is especially the health part of this country. I'm people can die because of the carelessness and the how they don't take some kind of cases seriously. Honestly, and it's painful, very painful. So yeah, I went home that day around 4:30, 4:30 something, took a cab and went back home without one thing that's going to subside my day. So I just had to rest and wait till I come back to my base and start treating myself with the medication that I brought from Nigeria. Can you imagine? This country, need to work on their health, health whatever is bad. Anyway, that's the end of today's video. Thank you for watching me rant about NHS and UK hospitals. See you on my next one. Bye. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave this video a thumbs up. Bye.